Alex Eala enjoys off-season with trip to Thailand. A few weeks before her scheduled return to the hard court in the same country. A few weeks before her scheduled return to the hard court in the same country. In a post on her Instagram account, Filipina tennis sensation Alex Eala shared a reel from her recent vacation to Thailand. In the said clip, which has since garnered over 40,000 likes, the 20-year-old went on an adventure and took the zip line as she enjoyed the lush greenery and the view of the open sea. She even quipped that her mother told her to stay safe in Thailand, but went on to the said activity since it had a helmet provided anyway. Meanwhile, this trip happens a few weeks before the scheduled start of the 2025 Southeast Asian (SA) Games, which will be held in the same country from December 9th to 20th, where Alex is confirmed to be participating as part of the Philippine team. That will be one of the two scheduled engagements for the tennis star in the latter part of the year after she ended her season at the Hong Kong Open last October. Eala will also be joining the MGM Macau Tennis Masters, along with team captains Li Na and Conchita Martinez, and other players such as Jack Draper, Jakub Mensik, and Shang Junxing in the men's division, and Mira Andreeva in the women's category. Those will cap her momentous year, which include highlights like her first WTA trophy in Guadalajara and her consistent rise to the world rankings, with her achieving the career-high placement on the 50th spot. The world of professional tennis rarely allows its stars a chance to slow down. For most players, even the off-season is less of a break and more of a tightly scheduled period of preseason conditioning, travel, sponsor obligations and training blocks. But every now and then, a moment surfaces, small, gentle, golden, where an athlete finally stops to breathe. For Alex Eala, that moment took the shape of a sunlit escape to Thailand, a place where the waves hum softly and time dissolves into something more forgiving. After a season marked by emotional breakthroughs, personal evolution, and a steady march toward fulfilling her potential on the WTA Tour, the 20-year-old Filipina star knew she needed a reset. Not just physically or mentally but spiritually, something to clear the fog, refill the tank, and remind her of the world beyond tennis courts and baseline rallies. Thailand, with its temples, lush jungles, playful beaches, aromatic street markets, and the irresistible tranquility of its culture, became her haven. 1. Landing in the land of smiles. When Alex's plane touched down at Suvarnabhumi Airport, the first thing she felt was warmth, not just the tropical heat but the atmosphere. People greeted each other with smiles that seemed to stretch wider than the horizon. She blended right in, slipping on her backpack as she stepped out into the bustling streets of Bangkok. The city felt like an orchestra of chaos and charm. Tuk-tuks zigzagged between cars, street vendors grilled skewers of satay over open flames, and neon signs flickered above alley markets. It was a sensory explosion, and to Alex, who had spent the last months hyper-focused on tournaments, points, rankings and practice, it felt strangely liberating. No one cared that she was a rising tennis star. No one asked her about forehands or match points. Here she was simply Alex, a traveler with wide eyes and time to spare. That anonymity alone felt like a luxury. 2. A day at the floating markets. Alex's first adventure took her to the famous Damnon Saduak floating market, where vendors paddled boats heavy with fruits, flowers, souvenirs and freshly cooked foods. She rented her own rowboat, with a Thai guide whose smile never faded, and drifted along the canals. The scenes around her painted a tapestry of culture. An elderly woman with rough, wrinkled hands arranging mangoes, a young boy jumping from boat to boat, balancing precariously and laughing wildly, tourists bargaining for coconut juice or intricately carved soaps. "Try this," her guide insisted, handing her a warm cup of cow lamb, sticky rice steamed inside bamboo. She took a bite and felt a familiar delight. Something about Asian flavors always reminded her of home. That sweetness, that comfort, that simplicity, it anchored her even amid the unfamiliar. She moved from boat to boat, sampling pad thai, mango sticky rice, and every dessert whose aroma pulled her closer. It was indulgence in its purest form. For hours, Alex forgot completely about tennis. Her mind wasn't analyzing errors. Her body wasn't calculating footwork. Her heart was simply absorbing everything around her. 3. Sunrise at the temples. One morning, Alex woke before dawn and rode a motorboat along the Chao Phraya River. The air was cool, gentle, scented faintly with incense. Her destination, Wat Arun, the Temple of Dawn. By the time she arrived, the sky was a soft watercolor blend of lavender and gold. The temple's porcelain mosaics reflected the first rays of sunlight, shimmering like a jewel rising from the river's edge. Alex sat on the steps, legs crossed, eyes drinking in the stillness. For once, no camera clicks. No press conferences. No expectations. Just silence and serenity. Her mind wandered, not toward rankings or goals but toward gratitude. Gratitude for the people back home cheering her on. Gratitude for her team guiding her with patience. Gratitude for the little girl she once was, gripping a racket too big for her hands, dreaming of courts she'd never seen. She breathed deeply, letting the meditative atmosphere wash over her. Something in her softened. She realized this trip wasn't merely a vacation, it was a reconnection. With herself. With her purpose. With a version of Alex not defined by wins or losses. 4. The island escape, Phuket and Phi Phi. After days in Bangkok, Alex took a short flight to Phuket, trading city buzz for turquoise waters and sandy beaches. Her first stop was Kata Beach, where the sound of crashing waves fizzled into the afternoon sun. She walked barefoot along the shore, letting the water kiss her ankles while children built sandcastles and surfers rode gentle waves. It had been a long time since she felt this light. She rented a surfboard, having always loved adventure, and paddled out. Surfing wasn't like tennis. It didn't demand perfection or precision. It demanded balance, surrender, and acceptance that sometimes the waves decided your fate. She fell. She laughed. She paddled again. Every wipeout felt like a metaphor for the setbacks she had experienced this year. Frustrating losses, tight matches she should have won, injuries that flared at the worst possible time. Yet here she was, still riding, still trying, still enjoying the journey. After Phuket, she took a ferry to Phi Phi Islands, a paradise carved from limestone cliffs and emerald waters. She snorkeled above coral gardens, swam with schools of fish that moved like shimmering clouds, and lounged on the deck of her boat with sunlight warming her cheeks. At night, she watched fire dancers perform on the beach, flames swirling like galaxies in the dark. Music thumped, people cheered, and the atmosphere buzzed with joy. For a moment, Alex forgot she was an elite athlete. She was simply a young woman embracing the world. 5. Jungle adventures in Chiang Mai. Wanting a different kind of experience, Alex flew north to Chiang Mai, a place where temples and trees seemed to coexist in an unspoken harmony. Her itinerary here was more adventurous. She hiked the trails of Doi Inthanon,